of any computer are two things. One is the hardware, which you can see physically, and the other one is the software, which you cannot see physically. So, which is a logical component, and hardware is a physical component. These are the two major components of any computer that exists in the world, whether it is a supercomputer or mainframe computer or mini computer or microcomputer. And all computers have the hardware, which is all consist of certain circuit levels. There are wires in between that. Today mostly it is wireless, and there are wireless also. So if you take the unit, the computer unit, these are the various units. One is the monitor, system, mouse, speaker, printer, keyboard, etc. These are the generic units of thing. Internally, the hardware may contain, that is a CPU may contain internal parts which are also physical, that is hardware. We have the disk, we have the drive, we have the motherboard, etc. Okay. Now coming to the software. Software is a collection of programs. What is a program? A program is a set of instructions. We are instructing the computer to do some work which we cannot do. So that is what it is called as the program. So a program is a set of instruction. A software is a collection of programs. Many programs made or put together, we call it as a software. And every software may contain several programs, and any program will contain set of instruction. If you take a small program, it will contain instruction, minimum 5 or 10 or 20 instructions will be there. Then what is an instruction? Instruction is the command that is given to the computer system. Okay, so all these things are working in an hierarchy. That is, a software is a collection of programs, a program is a collection of instruction, and instruction is a command that is given to the system. Okay, now if you take the software, we can classify the software into two kinds. One is the system software and application software. So there are some softwares which are required for the computer system for its existence and working. One is the operating system. You buy a computer, laptop, or even a mobile, you need to have any one operating system which is running in it. Otherwise, we cannot work with other applications, whatever has been installed. So those softwares which fall under this category, that is more essential, and without which other programs cannot work, are said to be system softwares. Examples are your operating system. Everybody might have heard about Windows, Linux, like that. These are all the operating systems. Then we have some other softwares which are essential for execution of our programs. Suppose I write a program in C. I have installed C software, but I want to execute it. Means we need a system software. We need the use. We must make use of the system softwares like compilers, interpreters, etc. So a system software is most essential part of any computer system, without which we cannot work in other programs or other softwares. The other kind of category is the application software. That means what is being created by the users. Suppose I develop a software, it will come under the application category. If I don't develop, some company is developing, for like large companies like Microsoft, Sun Microsoft, etc., they are developing, means that will come under the system software. Okay, application softwares are softwares that are developed by the users, any users. We have many software companies which will develop these application software. You go to any place where there is a computer, definitely there will be an application. You go to a small medical shop or a small shop where there is a computer, they are having a barcode scanner machine and one software for billing. All these things are done to make the work simple. And there are large applications. You go to a railway station, there are, you can see that software is very very distributed and concurrent software. That means anytime, anywhere, any place you can book the ticket across India. So those are all called as the application softwares. Okay, so in general, if you can categorize the software into two. One is the system software, the other is the application software. So what the examples what I told are that is Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac, all those things are system software, which is called as the operating system, where we call as the operating system. Now coming to the hardware part, as I told you, we can see in our naked eye what is an hardware, what are the parts. Okay, now basically there are 5 important units of a computer. One is the input unit, where this unit is used to receive the data from the user. The second unit is the CPU, or central processing unit. What the computer has to do with that data, it has to do some processing. So that unit we call it as the CPU. It is like a heart. You have a heart, you know, everybody is having a heart. So the heart will pump blood, okay, to all the various other organs, internal organs of your body. So like that, we have this processing unit, which is central and which gets the data and process it. If it wants to save, it goes to the next unit, that is a memory unit. That is primary memory unit, most essential memory unit, again without which we cannot switch on the system itself. That is what the primary memory unit. Then the fourth unit is the secondary memory unit, or secondary storage unit, where we have got the external devices, even the hard disk, the external hard disk, your pen drive, CD drive, flash drive. These are all the external or secondary or secondary store auxiliary. You can also call this auxiliary, secondary, or external storage devices or units. Then we have got the output, where to display the result. I got the input, I have processed it. Where is the output? How to show the result? So the result will be showed in the output unit. Output unit will be either, if you want it as a white and black, in print means you have got the printer. Otherwise, in the screen itself, if you want to see, means you got the monitor, or we call it as a visual display unit. These are the major components of any computer system. Any, I mean by, based on the size, processing speed, and data storage capacity, we can classify into mainframe supercomputer, that is not operational. That is the first one. Then we have mainframe computer, which is having a very large memory space, processing speed is high, frequency is high, and no individual can buy it. Then third one, we have the mini computer, in which a small organization or even a large organization can get that computer, where multi-users can work, where also comparatively, compared to your microcomputer, the storage capacity, processing speed, everything will be much higher. We call that computer as a mini computer. And we have the microcomputer, which is otherwise called as a personal computer, which everyone has, which is affordable. You can buy a desktop or laptop and call those things as a micro computer, which will be falling between 10,000 or 20,000 to 1 lakh. But mini computer and all, it is very costly. Mainframe also is very costly. So microcomputers or the personal computers, which is affordable, has got less memory, less processing speed compared to other types of computers. So whatever may be the type of computer, we got the 5 major units in all the 5 types of computers. So input devices, this is the organization of the compute unit. As I told you, input unit, the CPU will contain 3 important things. One is the ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, then control unit, then memory unit, the major components of a CPU. Then we've got the secondary storage device, storage unit, and the output unit. So when the input is being fed, it immediately received by the control unit, and it gets transferred based on the type of operation, whether you want to store it or if you want to perform the calculations, whether it is arithmetic or logical calculations. For all these things, we have got a syntax. All these things works on a grammar, like how I am speaking with you. I am speaking with you in English, and I follow a language. I follow a grammar. The computer also is having a grammar, and it is also having the similarity between our natural language and the computer language, but it is very difficult to understand the computer language. So the control unit performs this. It transfers the control to either to the memory or to the ALU, and then does the work accordingly. So this is the organization of a general or a generic computer system. And these are the input devices, what you see in the screen: tablet, light pen, web camera, keyboard, etc. You might be familiar in all these things: scanner, mouse, remote control, tablet. All these things are some of the examples of input devices that are available in the market. Then okay, then CPU is the central processing unit, where your processor will rest on it. We've got a processor, the more important vital component of any computer. We call it as a processor. So why and how it is processing. Okay, all input is received. It gathers in input and begins its processing. So we got the famous companies like Intel, which manufactures these processors, and every computer should have minimum of one processor. You can have more than one also. So minimum one processor should be there in each and every computer. So what computer I'm saying is a microcomputer. This is a laptop or a PC or a desktop, etc. Even in your mobile phones, you have your processor. So processor is a vital component. We call it as a microprocessor because it gets and processes only micro instructions. It can process only micro instructions. And we have got generations of microprocessors, and I think we are now in the Intel i7, I think. So why we are having generations means every processor has got the speed, the number of instructions which it can process at a particular time. So earlier we had 4-bit, then we had 8-bit, now then we had 32-bit and 64-bit, and even today we have got 128-bit is also there. So in general, 64-bit will be the processing word length for any processor, and the speed depends on the number of cycles, how many bits it can process per cycle. That per cycle is measured by the frequency. What is the unit of frequency? Hertz is the unit of frequency. Hertz is a German scholar. So every cycle, the unit of one frequency, unit of one cycle is frequency is hertz, 1 hertz. So how many hertz you can have? Today we have, earlier we had kilohertz, earlier we had hertz, then we had kilohertz, that is 1000 hertz is equal to 1 kilohertz, then 1000 kilohertz is equal to 1 megahertz, then 1000 megahertz is equal to 1 gigahertz. So today we have processors which are having gigahertz speed. So at a very faster rate, the instructions can be executed by the computer. So it is having that much speed. So the speed of a computer is determined by the processor, what type of processor you have. So today we are in the Intel i7 and i5 are all there. So it are all there in the gigahertz speed. So this ALU contains, the CPU contains the ALU control unit and the memory. Memory, we have primarily two kinds of primary memory. One is the RAM and the ROM. So whenever you switch on the computer, there is a software which starts executing. That is a program which is stored in the ROM, ROM, read only memory. Why we are saying read only memory? Because we cannot write into it. There are two important operations on the memory. Your brain you take, that is a memory. you can store something and you may forget something. So storing is reading, storing, and if you remember that, then you will take that from the memory brain, no, like that. Reading and writing are two important operations that are performed on the memory unit. We have got ROM, which you can do only reading work. Once it has been stored, that is finalized. But other thing, then what happens to the read and write operations? That will be taken care by the primary memory called as RAM memory, which is a volatile memory. That means if the computer is switched off, immediately turns off due to some other problem, external hindrance, all the contents will be destroyed. So that is why the RAM memory is a volatile memory. The contents will be destroyed once the computer is switched off. If you want to make it as a permanent storage, then you can store it in the secondary or auxiliary storage devices like the hard disk, like the CD disk, or the flash drive. Like that, in those places we can store it. Hello. ഇല്ല എൻ്റെ അടുത്തില്ല ഞാൻ തിരിച്ചു കൊടുത്തല്ലോ തിരിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു Can you all hear me? One of you respond.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Okay. So that the memory contains the memory. When we can say it is a memory, what is the composition? What does it contain? The memory contain several digital components. Primarily it is registers. So the registers are a collection of gates. All these things you'll be learning in the digital and discrete mathematics. Two very important subjects. So a large collection of gates, we can call it as a register. So there will be n number of registers available in the memory in order to retain whatever you have stored. So how it gets stored? What is the thing? Is the computer will not understand our natural language. It will store everything in the form of a bit, that is binary digit. So what happens is whatever we type in the computer, it will be stored in the system, that is the memory, in the form of zeros and ones. So for example, I am storing A. A will have a universal coding system. So generally all manufacturers will follow the ASCII coding system, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So as per that encoding system, whatever the information is typed or given input by the user, it will be converted into that particular group of bits. A is having 64. So what is the value of 64? 10000 followed by 80. So immediately that will be stored in the memory. So in each logic gate, the 0 or 1, that is, it will be an active or inactive state. It will be stored in that the logic gates. More number of logic gates, we call it as the register. More registers, we call it as a memory. So all are very large scale integration. These are all digital circuits which are integrated at a very large scale. 10,000, 1 lakh will be integrated. Components will be integrated into a small biscuit size memory. You understand? It will be in the form of a biscuit size only. So there are number of things that are inside that. So the information stored will be in the form of zeros and ones, which we call it as a binary digit or bit. The units of measurement in storage or memory is bit. Basic unit is bit. And if you have got group of 8 bits, we call it as byte. And if you have got 1024 bits, 1024, it is in the form of 2 power. We call it as 1 KB, that is kilobyte. Then 1024 kilobytes, we call it as 1 megabyte. 1024 megabyte, we call it as 1 gigabyte. Then 1024 gigabytes, we call it as 1 terabyte. So secondary storage devices are having larger memory because it is a auxiliary memory. So we can have the size also can be little bigger. So it will be today, it will be all memory secondary storage devices, hard disk are all coming in the TB unit, 1 terabyte unit or 2 terabyte like that. But the primary memory, that is a RAM, we cannot have such kind of, because the concept of searching and sorting will be a tedious problem. So therefore, we have the size of the random access memory, the RAM, comparatively less than the auxiliary memory. It will be in the form of, today it is the form of, earlier we had in bytes, then we had kilobytes, then we had megabytes. 20 years back, we had 32 MB RAM, means very big factor. But today, we are having in gigabytes. Okay, 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, like that they are saying. Okay, so in a computer, the capacity of the RAM will be less compared to the storage unit. That is your hard disk. Hard disk can be 1 TB or 2 TB, whatever it is, but your memory is comparatively very less. This is how the memory unit is being organized. Then we have the output unit. That is, output units are secondary output units are what you see in the screen, that is the monitor. There are several versions, or earlier we had the CRT, cathode ray tube monitor. You know, TV is there in your homes. When you were born, the TVs were in CRT, very big TV. Today we have, due to the technology, we have the TFT technology TVs, and nowadays we have the LED TVs also. And the same thing can be there in our computer output also. CRT monitors were there. Now we had the TFT monitors. Then we had the LED monitors, and today we have the touch also, touch panel, where many changes have come. So those are all output devices for displaying the result of the processing. Then if you want to have a print or a hard copy in black and white means, or in color means, we have got several type of printers and plotters for large scale plotting. I want to construct a very large apartment. So, and I want to have a very the sketch or outline of a national park, like that. If you want to do means, we can go for a plotter. Then I want to hear songs, then these are all in the speaker. That is, these are all the output devices. So if you take printer, there are types of printers. Dot matrix, they have become obsolete. Inkjet also is becoming obsolete, and laser is one of the predominantly most widely and popular printers, which uses a powder concept instead of ink. Then we have these are the things. Okay, output monitors and softwares. I told you. So how to calculate the unit of storage. Okay, so this I was telling, that is, what is the measurement of speed? What is the unit of speed? The unit of speed in computer is called as the hertz. 1 hertz represents 1 cycle. 1 cycle is one, in a, you take a sinusoidal wave, sine wave. Sine 0 is 0, sine 90 is 1. That is a wave like symbol, wave-like representation, where one cycle which starts from 0 ends in 0. That is one cycle, which is represented as 1 hertz. So the speed of the computer is determined by the processor speed. As I told you, 1 gigahertz means 1 billion cycles per second. 1 billion is equal to 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So 1 billion is crores of cycles, that is, instructions can be processed per second. That is what 1 gigahertz. Okay, so that is what I want to say. And this is just an introduction about computers. and already I've took 45 valuable minutes of you, and